What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and I have a Resident Evil Revelations 2 news update. Now, apparently, some leaked images and some leaked information on the next Resident Evil Revelations games have been released, and I kind of want to give my initial thoughts on all of them. Now, before I do that, I actually would like to state right now that I believe a few days ago, I actually uploaded a video going over the top 5 things that I would actually like to see in Resident Evil Revelations 2, and I'm happy to see that for a good part, most of my personal desires I want for this game are going to be fulfilled. The first two, in fact, being that it has been confirmed that Claire Redfield will, in fact, be returning and taking the lead role in this game. It is about damn time. We have not seen Claire in a Resident Evil game since Code Veronica, and I felt she was more of like a supporting role behind Chris and Steve, so I'm happy to see her back, and I actually like her new design too. They also made a statement that she definitely looks much more mature and a lot older, which I do like this new look for her, because I wasn't a big fan of her look in Resident Evil Degeneration. She didn't really look all that much like, quote, experienced or more like combat active, but this one, I absolutely like this new look of Claire, and it's also been confirmed that she will be partnered with a certain character's daughter, and the person that she will also be teaming up with in this particular Resident Evil game is actually Barry Burton's daughter, and she goes by the name of Maura Burton. So this is going to be a co-op Resident Evil game, but from what I can see from these sources is that it states that Maura is going to be more of a supporting role than a combat role, so this seems more reminiscent of something like Resident Evil 4, as in, you know, Claire's going to hold the guns, and more, from what I can tell, from what it says, from what her purpose is she's more of like going to like provide her with herbs and like keeping Claire alive, and apparently holding a flashlight, because the current location that apparently this game is going to take place in is it's going to be, let me see here, I'm going to leave a link to the article down below so you can actually look at it yourself if you get a chance. I'm just going to go over a couple of the basics. It's going to be set in a, let me see, it's kind of like an abandoned detention facility. And apparently Claire and Maura have been kidnapped, and they're just trying to fight their way out. And so what Maura's function is she's pretty much going to be holding a flashlight, because it's going to be very, very dark, and so you can actually tell her to point that way to see if there's a certain enemy popping out. So I absolutely like that we're kind of going back to an older format with like Resident Evil 4, but that we're finally getting Claire returning, and we're finally getting a girl-on-girl team-up. I've asked for this for like the past 2 years, and I'm happy to see that we're finally getting it. A couple of other details that we're also getting is that the gameplay is going to not feel as much action-orientated as it was in Resident Evil 5 and 6, but it's going to feel much more like Resident Evil Revelations 1, which is good, because I felt that Revelations certainly felt a lot like, it felt like Resident Evil 5 with like a 4 feeling. So I like that we're kind of keeping that, we're keeping that type of gameplay style, but with having a supporting character not really being action-orientated and having a absolute simple function of aiding you in combat without actually having to contribute any ammo or any such, you know, backup. I think it's going to be a real interesting twist. So you're kind of getting like a Leon and Ashley like type of gameplay, but if Ashley had like much more of a role in actually aiding you through combat. So I absolutely like that. And it also states that this game will take place after Resident Evil 5, but before 6, which, you know, I did say that I wanted to take place after 6, but I guess it makes a little bit of sense, because Revelations 1 took place before 5, this one takes place before 6, which means that if we do get a Revelations 3, it's probably going to take place before 7. Which means that we could still, there's a chance we could still get an announcement of Resident Evil 7, which we could get at this year's Tokyo Game Show, and I believe about like another week. And like a couple of more information stating that Claire is the only player that apparently can die in this game, so, which is a little bit weird, because I think that if they had Maura's character actually be capable of dying, I think it adds kind of a little bit of, not suspense, but a little bit of, there's more risk factor, because you have to keep yourself alive and your partner alive, and it is going to be possible co-op, or you can play the campaign solo, which I find a little bit weird, because if you're going to play this as co-op, then the person who's playing the second character really isn't going to be doing much except directing you where to shoot. So I'm not sure if the second player would really want to just be a supporting role. Not sure if, you know, much gamers would like that. And apparently the new enemy that they apparently are calling, I'm hoping I'm saying this right, is they're called Afflicted. And apparently it's kind of like a zombie, but something different. So we're getting maybe a mutated version of a zombie, which definitely goes back to old school Resident Evil format. So I'm absolutely loving everything I'm hearing from this game. We're not quite going back to old school original, but we are keeping the better aspects of the newer games, and we're simply bringing them back into an old school setting, which I believe that's what Revelations did so well. I believe I do believe Resident Evil Revelations 2 is going to push the boundaries in terms of being able to still keep the survival horror aspect that made Resident Evil the franchise it is today, but giving it a much more modern day feeling. And that's really what I want from my Resident Evil games from this point on. We don't have to go straight up action like we did in Resident Evils 5 and 6. It has been proven that with 4 you can kind of have it be much more action based, but still keep it in a horror-like setting. And I do believe that Revelations 2 is going to achieve that. So again, I'm going to leave a link to that article in the description down below so you can check it out yourself. And if you like this video and this update, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to track me in my future videos. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome. I'll see you next time.